Hello, everybody. Hi, Mom. Thank you all for being here with us. Today we have the Democrat states, the Texas state representatives for District 79 with us today. Art Fierro and Claudia Ordaz Perez are here with us tonight. Thank you so much for being with us. My name is Veronica Ramos, and I am the Government Relations Director with Mob Families for El Paso. Just to give a little bit of background about Mob, it was created by two amazing moms that grew up here in the Sun City, Layla Zayden Safa and Adrian Moody. They created this group with a mission to work with local leaders and bring more family-friendly amenities to our city. And ever since they started, they've been doing just that. I direct the Mob Get Out the Vote program, where we have registered many people to vote while also increasing awareness of elections and candidates running for local offices. At the local level, we advocate for more amenities at the splash parks, and that led to over $1 million to be allocated to them. We also have helped to revitalize the Sky at the Park by fundraising over $1 million to build an all abilities playground, and we will be celebrating with a ribbon cutting soon, hopefully by the end of this year. At the state level, we were able to draft a bill in the House to make voting easier for families, and that passed. And without further ado, I'm going to open it up to Mr. Art Fierro and to give his opening statement.
Thank you so very much. I'm very proud and honored to be here this evening with your organization. You know, I am the candidate with experience on both sides. When I served 13 years with the El Paso Community College, 10 of them as chair of the Board of Trustees, I had the honor and privilege to go to Austin and testify before committees and testify before senators, in House members on things like formula funding, more funding for workforce, and operational funds. In all three of those components were components that, had we not successfully achieved, would have been burdens on the taxpayers. That's something that I'm very conscious about, and that we worked very hard in my entire 13 years on the Board of Trustees of El Paso Community College. It's that in the 13 years, we only had to raise taxes twice. And so again, that's something I'm very proud of. If you look at your tax bill, hands down, it's the lowest part of it. During my tenure there, we were awarded the Excelencia Award, which is given to colleges that excel when student or Latino success. We were able to, in the 13 years, each and every year, be awarded and named #1 when it came to degrees and certificates to Hispanic students. You know, I have been dedicated and transparent during my tenure as a state representative, bringing the same enthusiasm and work ethic. You know, I've authored 43 bills, 12 have passed out of committee, 8 off the floor, and 2 were signed into law. My office has been working, you know, since we opened in 2019. We have over 600 constituent inquiries that we addressed during the pandemic when El Pasoans needed access to Texas Workforce Commission and they were being overwhelmed. We were able to assist the commission with 1,000 inquiries that we were able to resolve. Again, I'm looking forward to serving and working with your organization during the 88th. And our office is always open for you here in El Paso and in Austin. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Fierro. And we're gonna speak with Ms. Claudia Ordaz Perez.
Hi, everyone. My name is Claudia Ordaz Perez, Moms on Board. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. I love everything that you all do for our families and in our community. I had the honor of working with y'all when I was on city council. I know a big initiative, like you said, your mission was ensuring that we're improving the quality of life for families here in El Paso. We worked together on getting more shade at our spray parks. And then the number one, I remember the concern that we were hearing from not only working moms and working dads was, our playgrounds, when you go, El Paso is known as the Sun City, right? But so when kids were going to these playgrounds, they were hot, right? Where it was almost unsafe for a lot of these kids. So your all's initiative in ensuring that we were going to get shade in our playgrounds, in our splash parks, you all were instrumental in making that happen. Not only did we get some at our spray parks, we also implemented funding so that new playgrounds will have now new shade structures. You all were also super helpful when I was working on a parental leave bill for not only working moms, but working dads as well. So many workers sadly had to come back to work too soon after having a baby, whether you had a newborn, whether you had a foster child, whether you're taking care of a sick parent at home. Many families, many moms, many dads came back to work too soon. So family leave was a priority for me. You all were instrumental in helping get that policy passed at the city level and also helping with changing tables. I remember going to the airport once and sadly there was a dad having to change his baby on the airport floor because there weren't changing tables in the men's restroom. Together we changed that. You all were instrumental in that and helping me as well, getting changing tables now in men's and women's restrooms as city facilities, and any new business in El Paso now has to implement changing tables in both women's and men's restrooms. And so thank you all for being here today. My whole mission is ensuring that improving the quality of life for families here in El Paso. We are able to pass parental leave at the state level, and we're hoping to continue that mission in improving quality of life for El Pasoans and Texans. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Claudia Ordaz Perez, for being here. Both you and Arfiero for being here. So MOB has worked with the state and local leaders in order to promote more family-friendly amenities in our community. In your time in elected office, and you all kind of already touched base on that, how have you worked to achieve similar goals? And what are your plans to advance those goals if you are elected? Mr. Arfiero.
Oh, thank you so much. At the community college, we were able to emphasize that it was a children's friendly classrooms. There's so many of us that are non-traditional students who had to bring our children to school, who had to, because of the lack of daycare facilities or for whatever reason. So we worked very diligently to make sure that the classes were also children friendly. We were able also to bring, to add more classes. Prior to me being on the board, there was no early classes. Now there's 6 o'clock classes. And the reason was that, again, non-traditional students, both male and female, were able to now go to class early and then have them. They've always had night classes, but we were able to expand that schedule also to offer more of the basics, to offer more opportunities for people to take classes. Our workforce certificates, are always meant for working mom and dads to be able to work with their family and still be able to get their certificate so they can go on and make more money.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fierro. And I'm gonna restate the question. We've worked with state and local leaders in order to promote more family-friendly amenities in our community. In your time in elected office, how have you worked to achieve similar goals? And what are your plans to advance those goals if you are elected?
I should have probably mentioned this in my opening, but no, I just want to reiterate just how tremendous your organization is for really working towards better family-friendly amenities on the local level and now the state level. And so for anyone tuning in, I'm just, again, a big fan of Moms on Board. Anyone who has the opportunity to join this amazing group, please do. They've done a tremendous job, whether it's providing, like I said, shaded canopies in our playgrounds, helping on my initiative with parental leave policies, changing tables in both men's and women's restrooms, the great work you all did at Escada at the Park, and also the great work that you all are doing at the state of Texas. So my big thing when I had first started, when I was on city council, it was parental leave, family leave benefits. And now more than ever, we've seen the need for real family leave benefits through the pandemic. It's no longer where it's just one breadwinner. I mean, back in the 50s, now there's two breadwinners, you know, in some families. And so it is unsustainable to have, you know, policies like FMLA. I mean, they have job protections at the end of the day, but they still they haven't kept up with the times and ensuring that there's two now breadwinners at home. So when there's a new baby at home, when there's a foster child at home, whether you have an adoptive child, or again, like me, who take care of my parents, we need those types of family-friendly policies to really give our working families the support that they need. I mean, in America, we are very, very far behind when it comes to family leave benefits. We were able to get that done at the city level. I was able to pass that and got the support from Republicans and Democrats to get that done at the state level. So now state employees now have family leave benefits. And we're working now with the business communities across the state to ensure that we can expand family leave programs that can adopt similar business friendly models to help our working families. And so again, that's kind of just a policy initiative that I worked on this session and what I'm going to be working on next session. But again, I'm just thanking you all for the work that you all do each and every day.
Thank you so much, Claudia. We also have another question for both of you. If elected, what is your top priority for your district? Mr. Fierro.
Well, you know, before we go on to that question, I forgot to add, we did also, an initiative that we had at the community college is that we added the YMCA daycare facility to every campus, not only for the students, the non-traditional students, but also for the faculty and the adjunct faculty. My initiatives are the same as they were this last session. We have to do something to get more people in El Paso County in Texas have access to healthcare, especially when it comes to mental health treatment. I filed a bill to help with that issue, in particular when it comes to mental health issues. It was a telemed bill, and the telemed bill is a great opportunity for doctors. We're short 500 therapists in the state of Texas. You know, drug, alcohol therapists are at a premium, and they're so overworked right now. You can't have access to them, and we need to have those abilities for people to access those two areas. Now, I'll keep working on those bills. Keep working to make sure that there's more opportunities for healthcare. When during the last session, I was able to get a rider, and UMC used the money to get a stroke van. The stroke van is one of only two in Texas. It has technology that's only one other stroke van in the world has it. It's in Australia, and so it's amazing when you see that driving around, knowing that it's going to save people's lives. The second issue is education. You know, we've got to make sure that we pay teachers premium wages. You know, that we need them to be able to see this as a career, to see this as a path. We need them. We can't have this turnover, this lack of the big vacuum we have right now when it comes to teachers and administrators. And so I think this will be a huge step when it comes to that. Also, we can't forget about our retired teachers. You know, it's been 20 years since the retired teachers have had any type of COLA. The 86th session, I joined authored the 13th check, and I plan on filing it for the 88th session. But we have to make sure that we take care of our retired teachers. They're having to choose between skyrocketing insurance, medications, foods. It's just not right. We're turning our backs on them. We're doing them a disservice. those are the two focuses of my agenda when we get back in the 88.
Thank you, Mr. Fierro. Ms. Ordaz Perez, if what is your top priority for your district if elected?
Absolutely. No, and thank you for giving me the opportunity. So when I first started in elected office, when I was on city council, my whole thing was ensuring that we're going to provide economic opportunities for El Pasoans here. For a very, very long time, El Paso, this was over 10 years ago, El Paso had exported more young talent than any other major city in the nation. And from what I heard all time and time again from classmates, from college classmates who are moving away, it was like, you know what, there's just a lack of job opportunities. There's lack of entertainment options. Quality of life became the constant theme that I heard from a lot of just El Pasoans here in El Paso. And so for me, that was always top of mind, is how we're going to ensure that we're going to improve the quality of life in El Paso. And so, you know, working towards creating better wages for El Pasoans, again, those family-friendly amenities was something top of mind for me. When I entered this legislative session on the state level, I mean, all of us, and we're still reeling through it, especially a lot of moms and dads, COVID. COVID is top of mind. It was like that for last session. It's going to be the same this session. So last session, I heard a lot from our small businesses, right? My dad was a small business owner, so it's a very close and near dear issue to me. You know, a lot of businesses were really struggling, and you saw a lot of our favorite businesses shut their doors down permanently here in El Paso because of COVID. And so the lack of capital that they had access to was something that I heard from them consistently. So I worked closely with my colleagues in the House and the Senate and the governor's office, and we were able to pass $386 million for small business and COVID relief. And I'm not talking just like the small, like 500 employees. I'm talking like our mom and pop shops, sole proprietors, those folks that were really hurting through COVID. Happy that we got that done. This session, no different, ensuring that we're going to expand economic opportunities, job growth here, wages here in El Paso, especially because families have been so hard hit because of COVID. So that is going to be top of mind going in. I sit on the International Relations and Economic Development Committee. We're bringing in the committee this summer to tour El Paso to see firsthand the opportunities on what we can do here in our border region to expand job opportunities and job growth here in El Paso and along the border. So again, job growth, wages is going to be a #1 priority for me for El Pasoans here in El Paso.
Thank you, Ms. Ordaz Perez. And we do have one question from our group, and we're going to say the question and then give you 2 minutes to respond.
Yeah, so Chris Canales, who is a wonderful member of MOB, is asking, what bills did you author or co-author last session, and which of those are you most proud of?
Mr. Fierro. Mr. Fierro, could you turn on your microphone?
Sorry, I apologize. Sorry about that. I'm very proud that I co-authored the 13th check bill. The 13th check, again, was for retired teachers, again, because we're doing them a disservice and they haven't gotten a COLA increase in over 20 years. And this was just a small stopgap to assist them until we can do more for them. I've filed asked for an interim study to be conducted in that committee. And the chair of the committee has agreed to consider it and move forward with it. So hopefully this is the beginning of addressing that issue. That is one of the biggest bills that I was very proud to co-sponsor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fierro. And Ms. Ordaz Perez?
Thank you. So as I had spoken earlier about $386 million, that was like my baby bill. Like I saw that bill through the whole process. It is so complicated to get these bills passed through 150 members in the House, and then you have to go to the Senate, and then you have to get the governor's approval. So it's a fun process, but a very complex one. So I was happy we were able to get that done in such a complex environment. We were also able to get, like I had mentioned earlier, family leave benefits for state employees. Worked with a veterans group here in El Paso, and the issue that they were having was veterans who were injured in war, have disabilities. They use certain equipment on our roadways. And unfortunately, under the transportation code, none of that was legal. And so we worked with this veterans group to now make the equipment that they use on our roadways, now those are street legal. We also worked, sadly, on it's called an active shooter bill. And we worked with AFT and TSTA and a number of local educators here, because now sadly we have to have active shooter drills in our schools. Teachers needed a little bit more direction from what I heard from them, so we worked diligently to make sure that that what's taught in our schools are trauma informed. So I was really happy, that we were able to get that bill addressed this session. And those are all bills that I authored and passed. There was a bill that I joint authored, and it's another bill that I cared deeply about, and that was our non-tethering bill. You all know, if anyone knows me from my time at the city, I'm known as the animal lady. So worked on animal welfare reform policies at the city. So at the state level, I joint authored a bill to ensure, I was one of 5 authors, to ensure that dogs would not be on heavy chains. These inhumane practices across the state were happening. Sadly, the governor vetoed that bill, but because of the power of Twitter, there was a Twitter that was a handle that said, the governor hates dogs, Abbott hates dogs. So we ended up bringing that bill back, and we're happy that now that bill is signed into law. So this was a successful session, even amidst, how polarized it was, but we're really happy that we were able to get this work accomplished for working El Pasoans, working Texans, and of course, our fur babies at home as well.
Thank you very much. And I don't think we have any more questions from our group. So I want to thank you both very much for being here, and all of MOB for tuning in. And the next one will be Friday. We'll have the Democrats, Texas State Representatives District 75. And so please tune in to see the next forum. Again, thank you to Claudia Ordaz Perez and Mr. Art Fierro for being here with us and just giving us a chance to get to know you and letting us into your candidacy. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you all so much. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.